Hey, Baltimore. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. And yes, it does mean war in Baltimore City. I am your host, Miss Christina Flowers, president of Belvedere Assisted Living in Belvedere Homes and the founder of the Real Care Providers of Belvedere, with the mission and the vision to bring awareness and to end homelessness in Baltimore City. I am so excited to be here today, guys. You already know when we get past Monday, we had a nice Spirit 1400 a.m. time from 2 to 3 on Mondays, and now we over here. We on WLB. How you doing, Dr. Humphrey?
Bless you, Sister Flo.
Bless you, Dr. Humphrey. He has such a way. He got his blessies already and out the way. And I am just so excited today because Baltimore, you know, we're going on our 4th year. Wow. Our 4th year in this studio on this time, Wednesdays and Fridays. And in the 4 years, it has definitely been a great opportunity to have airways. I feel like God's airways, people airways. We've been able to collaborate and partner with so many different entities and entrepreneurs in the city, always encouraging one another daily, you know, bringing on entrepreneurs, bringing on individuals with like-minded ideas in the city, having grassroots come together, having community leaders come together and be able to have an opinion and being able to talk about the different things that's going on in our city. I definitely come today, and I do not want to not take an opportunity. We're going to be having some great discussions this hour. So again, call in 410-481-1010. We're going to be talking about empowering women. We're going to be talking about great entrepreneurs. We're going to be talking about small businesses. We're going to be talking about the grassroots, the community leaders coming together for one Baltimore with one focus when it comes to reclaiming and joining each other for the mission and the vision that God has given us. So I want to say a great big thank you as I go into my great guest today. I have Brother Shahab on today, but I know that's Brother Shahab. That's just him. How you doing, Brother Shahab?
Good morning.
Okay, that's enough. But I'm really excited because we already been in Empowering Women Month. So I'm jumping on to the next best thing of a guest. So I want to take an opportunity because this month being Mother's Day month and really highlighting women, really highlighting entrepreneurs. But I'm even more excited to highlight this one because Baltimore, when we talk about being unified, when we talk about working together, when we talking about different barriers, different cultures, creative, out-of-the-box ideas, we should be always engaging our different cultures and community levels and all type of stuff. So, you know, I've been hanging out with Brother Shahab this week. It's been great. I done learned Indian chicken and what I'm eating different and what's this. But I'm also have the privilege today to introduce the missus to this opportunity. And not only is Miss Monet Shahab, she's an author. She is a talk show host. She dib and dabs in television a little bit. And she's also helping us as we learn to be exposed to international and culturistic different ways. So we're going to start thinking about breaking these chains on Baltimore City, breaking chains when it comes to not being able to learn from our different culture brothers and sisters. You know, we talk about so much how different groups and how money go from hand to hand and how this group work together. And we love eating the chicken boxes from all cultures, and we like getting our nails done from Chinese. But we're going to talk about now how we can be more unified as a city, as people coming together and working on some of the most important issues. I have been so excited since, you know, talking and meeting with Brother Shahab, just thinking about some of the things to put in place in the city when it comes to organizing. And everyone know we got some dates that we should be saving. So get your pencil, get your pens, because again, when we're talking grassroots, we're talking community leaders, we're talking people of interest in Baltimore City really stepping up so that we can have public policies, we can have our voices heard, and we can have it all done right here on the airways. I also want to take an opportunity, 410-481-1010. We also going to chime in Baltimore City to one of the most biggest topics to me as a homeless advocate in housing homeless individuals first. We want to talk about the stories in reference to homeless service providers will be losing funding from the federal side when it comes to over 15 programs that's providing transitional housing to our homeless individuals. These funds have been cut. This is an alarming situation for me because, of course, if everyone who is my listeners and been on this journey for almost 4 years, it's always been to house first and to get our homeless brothers and sisters off the street and to use the resources from the interfaith community, from the community leaders, from the churches, from the clergy to have a solution when it comes to ending homelessness. And I want to take the opportunity not only to talk about ending homelessness and what is this going to do when we're talking about homeless individuals outside in the tents, not having the resources of emergency housing. And that's something that Baltimore City do not have. Emergency housing and emergency sheltering is not the same two components. You know, people will not run into a shelter, but they will run into a situation where it feels like home. They could feel safe. They could get services. They could get supportive services. So it's always been a privilege to us, the real care providers, to demonstrate housing first through the past 4 years. Since March the 7th, 2013, we have housed over 400 individuals with using the Housing First model, with using the opportunity to partner with great landlords, with great property managers. I also want to give a great big shout out to Brother Philip Scott in the Waverly area community. And we just sealed the deal yesterday in a partnership. And we have a great big 4-bedroom house for mothers and children.
Amen.
This is an opportunity, again, Baltimore City, as a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit, we will be bending the ears of our community partners to be able to get this house up and running before June the 1st, because it's real important, as a lot of mothers and children are homeless. A lot of families are enduring homelessness. This crisis that's going on right now, as of July the 1st, we're talking $3.8 million will not be going into the funding of housing for our homeless individuals. You know, and I have to put this out there because, you know, everything that we do is like an experiment. And when it comes to our homeless services, you know, our brothers and sisters are sleeping in tents. They are in the streets. They are on the corners. And it's like, if we cannot come together as a community, this is not about the state. This is not about the government. This is about God's and humanity coming together with a solution. We are the solution in Baltimore City, Baltimore. We are the opportunity for our youth. We are the opportunity for our seniors. We are the opportunity for our neighborhoods and communities to have an opportunity. It seemed like something with money, Dr. Humphrey. Everybody talk over the years that, you know, this amount of money is missing from the schools. This amount of money is missing from the neighborhoods. Now money is being taken from our homeless. And we cannot forget 2012. We just had $3.7 million mismanaged. It was just $3.7 million mismanaged, not used properly for our homeless individuals. And it's something as an advocate that we cannot just sit back and say, okay, there go another $3.8 million not coming into the community for the homeless people. But this goes for the schoolhouse. We got 26 schools closing. Like, when are we going to stand up and stop being insane? Because they say, what's the saying, Dr. Humphrey? Insanity is doing the same. We're doing the same thing over and over again.
Insanity.
It's like
repeating the same thing.
It's
over
repeating
and over
the
again.
same thing. Like, you know, that's why I'm so excited, you know, even to be having the opportunity to learn and embrace Brother Shahab for some of the ideas and some of the creative thoughts that he is bringing in. So I want to give him a minute and an opportunity to just lay a foundation before he introduces again, not only our entrepreneur and empowering woman for the day, just have an opportunity to enlighten us on some of the goals and opportunities that he have for Baltimore City and being unified with international and national cultures as well. You're on. You're ready.
All right.
Let it go. All right.
Thank you, Sister Christina. I'm so privileged to be here this afternoon. Baltimore City
is emerging as an international cosmopolitan city in the Northeast corridor. And this is an economic engine for this Northeast corridor as well. Somehow, for some different reason, in the international news media, Baltimore City is getting a different story for some time. But this is, I see an opportunity. And this city, I call it City of Opportunities, can be turned around if we do some kind of out-of-box creative options and solutions to address those issues, address the issues for women empowerment, issues for the youth, for returning citizens. But we need to create public and private partnership and alliances on different lines to address those issues. But I see a hope and I see an opportunity there.
And you say that in a way, and this is where, don't get quiet on me today. I see my first caller, but, this is an opportunity where, again, not just listeners listening, but we need to be on the front line of this. Like, Dr. Humphrey, when you deal with the trauma response team, and one of my goals as an entrepreneur is not to see another woman or another small business or somebody with a creative, out-of-the-box thinking mind go through what I've been through in the past 3 years when it comes to partnering and collaborating. So, and that's just to ask, Brother Shahab, your thoughts of partnering, your thoughts of collaborating is you're very transparent. You are. That's one of the things that I admire. I'm serious. Like, from the day I met you, you could be all alarmed, but your transparency and knowing that you're sincere about the thoughts for this city has really, captivated my heart as an advocate to see someone step up and say, look, this is what we need to do. Because this is something as an advocate, as a community leader, we should be gravitating to.
Yes.
Absolutely. And again, as I said, we need to have a very coordinated effort to bring change, and it's a transition. And nothing happens overnight. People get frustrated. We have got long overdue problems in the city that we have been addressing, we have been seeing. But so we need to come up with a very coordinated public and private sector stakeholders coming together to have those issues addressed.
When you speak about stakeholders, Baba Shahab, it's time to break barriers. I believe it's time to,
Absolutely. I mean, last Thursday, Greater Baltimore Committee, GBC, has their annual meeting in Hyatt Regency. So over 1,000 very successful entrepreneurs from all over the city.
Yeah.
They were in attendance. In addition to that, we have City Hall movers and shakers there. Congressman Cumming was there. But I see a disconnect between the grassroots people and the people who can deliver, who has things.
It's a big disconnect. You see a big disconnect because the grassroots and the community leaders are the ones that's on the front line, just like this homeless situation. Like, we have groups down there feeding. You have the real care providers where we're literally housing first. And when it comes to that disconnect with our political leaders and our city officials, that's the biggest problem. It's a big disconnect. It's a big lack of communication. And until we address this as a people, like, we could sit around and have all the community meetings we want, but until we come together and demonstrate unity as a people, we're going to continue to have this problem in Baltimore City.
I mean, to build up on your conversation, Sister Christina, we came out recently, we're forming a Citizens Police Liaison Committee called CPLC, and drawing 5 people from each council district. The whole idea is to have a very coordinated dialogue and a rapport with the police. The police of Baltimore City that the citizens should be proud of. But I see a complete disconnect. There's a complete disconnect. There's misunderstanding. They're not on the same page. So they should be our pride. They are our police.
I think Dr. Humphrey knows they ain't been on the same page in a long time around here. Let's take our first caller. Hey, Woodrow.
Good morning, Mommy.
Good morning. How are you?
Brother Wood.
I'd like to share the business. Like, if you have a business, Christine Flowers like to do your advertising for you and your marketing. And we would love for you to partner with Miss Christina Flowers. She's a very successful business lady, and she always about her work helping out the homeless.
Awesome. Thank you, Woodrow. I feel like you just got promoted to you the advertiser of the year. Real talk, Baltimore. Thank you very much. So we're going to also take an opportunity before we take any more callers. I want to introduce Sister Mona to be able to share with us as an author. Dr. Humphrey's an author too. He has a book. So again, bringing things together to the table, just being able to share with the listeners some of your vision and thoughts about what it is that you're working on and how you're going to be able to collaborate and partner with us. And I'm just looking forward to learning probably a new language, if anything else. Teach me how to say my name in another language. Yes.
Yes, Catherine, thank you so much,
Yes.
Christina. Actually, I had been writing for a long, long time, and right now I am working on my storybooks, and 80% are about the women rights.
Wow.
Somehow or other. So you can call me feminist in a way. And Christina, when you talk about women empowerment,
Yes.
I am 100% with you.
Wow.
I mean, that is so important because woman is not only the very important person in our society. She's a mother. She's a sister.
Yes, all
she's
hats.
a
Caregiver.
daughter. So those characters are so strong who can really build a, very good bridge between man and woman. So I think you are on the right path. And what else?
We are on the right path because
Yes.
being empowered as a woman and starting a business. I started my business in 2000, assisted living. Now I'm a housing homeless advocate, and now I'm doing something else. Like you have to wear all hats.
Yeah.
Like you said it,
Right,
and that's
right.
really important. So
And when something comes up, like a bad thing comes up in the family, woman is the
Yep.
really the strongest person.
Backbone, I agree.
Bear all
Agree.
those,
Yeah.
I knew it.
difficulties. and struggles.
Yeah,
On
agree.
that note, Christina, I'm sure we have discussed that initiative for microfinancing, providing
Yes,
small
yes,
business
yes,
loans,
yes.
especially to the women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So, but we need to have a coordinated effort, as I said, between the stakeholders from the city hall, private sector, small businesses, and nonprofit and faith-based centers can play a vital role.
And you're right. Coordinated, and what you're saying, Brother Shahab, is so true. In our communities and neighborhoods, we have some powerful community leaders that are not being heard. I think about Brother Christopher Elroy over here in East Baltimore. Like, his voice is not being heard nor respected in a community that he has been in over 35 years. Like, why is it so difficult as a grassroots leader for us to have that opportunity to embrace or engage a lot of our city officials? What is this, a city thing, or they think we're going to mess up?
No.
Well, what happens?
No, just hear me out.
Is it a woman thing?
No, it's not a woman thing.
If it's a woman thing, we're going to talk about
It's not a woman
it.
thing.
Okay.
It's not a woman thing. It's a collective failure of not understanding the new trends, the new global trends.
Okay. A global, okay.
Yeah, look at what is happening at Baltimore City right now with the election.
Ah,
That's
a
mess.
nightmare.
Yeah, that's a mess.
We are sitting at such a high-tech environment globally.
Yes.
And what is happening in Baltimore City?
Yes.
And this is, by the hour, is becoming an international story.
Yes.
Again, Baltimore City for bad reasons.
Yes.
So
yes.
why can't we bring young people, educated people from the city
Yes.
who can do better?
Yes, yes.
So
and
why-
we ain't got to go outreach and what you're saying, I'm jumping on it because it's like, in all my collaborating around the city and engaging and dealing with homeless services, it's like they always outreaching salaries for people. And I think
Now-
about it because we're about to lose $3.8 million.
Now you're talking about mismanagement of
Yeah,
funds.
mismanagement.
I'm talking about there were no audits for last 35 years in any of the Baltimore City agency. We have ghost employees in Baltimore City.
Ghost employees, that's a good word
People
for
need
it.
to be properly trained.
Yeah.
Young people
This is
in there
even
be
worse
properly
than
trained.
any
Yeah.
I miss
third
it
world
now.
country.
Yeah.
This is worse. Well,
The
well,
ghosts,
one
I
of
like
the
that.
presidents
The ghosts.
came here and said it looked
Bernie
like
Sanders,
a.
yeah.
Bernie Sanders
Bernie
said it
Sanders.
looks like a third world.
He said
Let me
that about
say,
Santan Winchester.
410-481-1010. Call in Baltimore City and enjoy our great guest today. UN. I don't know if that's UN or just that's your name. UN? Is you in? You're not in. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go to Brother Carlos.
Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How are
Hey,
you,
Brother
sir?
Carlos.
Oh, I appreciate the wonderful work that you are doing,
Yes, sir.
and to say that you are in for the fight of your life.
Uh-oh. I've already been there. I'm looking for an easy round.
Nothing
I
easy.
hate to rain on your parade,
Ah.
but when you read the national news and so forth, and you hear or you read that in Washington D.C., which is our nation's capital, there are over 10,000 people, including almost 5,000 children who are homeless.
Yes, yes.
And so I don't know where Baltimore is on the spectrum, but and when you talk about the $3.8 million that was wasted,
Well, it was 3.7 in 2012. It was 3.7 mismanaged, and this year it was 3.8 million cut from federal funds, and it's going to affect the transitional housing programs. But this is where, Brother Carlos, and I hear what you say, a fight of my life. I think the fight has already started, because when you think about awareness of this situation and the fact that, you know, homeless services has not been doing good for a long time, you know, so.
Yeah, well, the point would be that any appropriations that come through the federal funding come through the House of Representatives. Everything must be approved through the House of Representatives.
Is that Elijah Cummings, correct?
Yes.
Somebody told me he was just a federal legislator.
Legislature.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I need to call him then.
the Democrats are not in charge of the House of Representatives.
No, they're not.
Wow.
That's the Republicans. Now, so what I'm saying to you is that because, and I would suggest that you get the housing commissioner or somebody that speaks for the housing commission to tell you why the $3.8 million is being cut, so that you can have what you call transparency. Because, as I say, those monies are allocated through the House of Representatives.
Okay.
And if you can't get the House of Representatives to approve sufficient funds to underwrite the homeless and other programs, then you can't get anything accomplished. But anyway, and by the way, would you give up your 501c3 rating just so that you could have more levity and more freedom to speak out? Would you give up that 501c3 designation?
If it gave me more of a platform to bring awareness of this issue,
Yes.
yes, I would.
You would? Okay.
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right, and how about your preacher? Would he do that?
Sure.
Hey, the preacher.
Absolutely.
Hey, we ain't.
Sure.
This is no compliment. If you got away, Brother Carlos, you need my phone number.
Oh no, no. I'm just trying to get a read, because somebody came on your program and said that the preacher should give up that 501c3 designations, and I haven't found any yet in my research that would give it up. But
Yeah, you got to be willing. You got to be willing to die when you're building the kingdom.
Yeah.
Brother Shahab wanted to respond to you.
Now, Brother Carlos made a very good point, about those allocation of resources from the federal government.
Yes.
And the point that he mentioned, that all the House committees are chaired or led by the Republicans. But fortunately, we have a governor who is a Republican in the state of Maryland. And Baltimore City, as of today, is part of the state of Maryland.
Good point.
So why can't we reach out to the governor to use his relationship and leverage his being a Republican to get resources towards our state and the city?
well, lots of luck with that. Thank you.
He said,
All right, thank you, Brother Carlos. Thank you. 410-481-1010. Thank you for chiming in with my great guests, Mr. and Mrs. Shahab, today. Sister Mona is entrepreneur, empowering woman, and we're going to talk about what we're moving towards. And one of the things that we're moving towards is, her being able to highlight a lot of different areas when it's coming to doing the radio, and we're going to be moving towards an additional radio daytime also, which we are excited about. So, stay tuned and tune in, because we want to hear more, and we want to be able to learn as women, because that's our problem. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak from an African-American black woman. I'm speaking. We have an issue with working together. We have a hard time in respecting something different. See, I respect you first, so everything else is going to come easy to me. So I'm excited and be able to share a little bit about what we are working upon, doing some Sunday evening stuff and coming on, because Brother Shahab is not the boss, is he?
No.
Sister Flowers, you talked about women. I can remember coming up in the Baptist churches and the women working and selling dinners and paying off mortgages to churches, and if you take taking care of business, and if you take the women out the churches.
If we take the women out the streets right now, it might be rough, because sometimes we have to learn from the rough side of the mountain. Caller, UN.
Hi, Christina. It's New Yen. How are you?
Hi. How are you, Sister Nijen? How are you?
Wow. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, look, I'm giving you a call. This is one of the points I didn't hear we addressed. They said one of the main reasons that, a lot of folks are suffering from being homeless is that they can't afford the rent. When are we going to talk about affording rent, like making rent affordable?
Exactly.
If I could pay the rent, if I had the money to afford it, I would pay it.
And Sister Nguyen, you make a great point, and that's like affordable housing. When you're thinking of these individuals, majority of our population of homeless individuals are on a fixed income, and the income can be anywhere from $185 a month. That's it. That's all. So when you're talking affordable housing in our government, in our state mindset, it's nothing to afford them in that area. But when you're talking about out of the box and being creative, what we do with individuals like that, they may come in, they may pay $100, and we'll try to work on other opportunities, whether it's work. So creatively, we have the answer for affordable housing for those individuals on fixed income. Again, we just have to have the partnerships and the collaboration to be able to sustain our brothers and sisters in the process.
But you know what I think that hurts us a little bit is the simple fact that the mean income in Baltimore, I can't think of what it is right now in the state of Maryland, but they basing their income on people that live and work in D.C. Well, I'm sorry, that work in D.C. So their salaries look really high. Look like the average salary here in Maryland is high. It's not. It's that concentrated group, maybe in Prince George County or Howard County near D.C.
Using a city address.
Ma'am?
So we're using a city address, must be.
Right. So it makes it look like, hey, they don't, the average person, like, they don't make this, like 100% below the poverty level. Like, we're not making that money to pay the rent. Because I'm sure people going to have a choice. Are you going to pay this rent? That can be too much responsibility. And don't lose your job.
That's right. And don't lose your job. And don't be leaving with someone. Let me tell you what's happening with a lot of mothers and children right now that we've been dealing with. They live with individuals that fall on hard times. And then that put them in a situation. But again, thank you for calling and bringing that up, because that's very important. And also put your information out there, because this is an empowering sister too, Sister Monet. She do a lot of health care. Put your information out there, Sister New, and then she's a real care provider.
Oh, great. So let me just first say that I do work at Supreme Oasis, 3223 Garrison Boulevard, every Saturday and Sunday, but we're open 7 days a week, and we try to make really good nutritious food and homemade food. And but aside from that, like I said, I am a registered nurse. I'm a delegating nurse, so I help assisted living facilities get up and running. I also teach med tech training class. So once folks are in these systems, they are still continuing with their meds in a safe manner.
Yes.
In addition,
put your information out there, baby.
Yeah, so like I said, if you want to contact us, we're at 5500 Glen Oak and Rogers Avenue. We're getting ready to start a healthcare clinic called Your Community Healthcare Clinic, and it's at 5500 Glen Oak and Rogers. The phone number is 443 636-1409. And we're going to also start off with Suboxone. We're going to do a Suboxone mental health and medical health clinic. We have nurse practitioners, therapists, psychiatrists. And like I said, we need something here in West Baltimore.
That's right.
East Baltimore has a lot of stuff, and I'm not hating on East Baltimore.
Don't hate on East. You know I come from, wait a minute, I come from East, but God said I need to expand you to the West. So you're right. We got West Side is definitely cranking.
Yeah.
West Side is in the house, and we represent, and we're here to help our community.
I know that's right.
Please give us a call. We want to help you, and thank you, Christina. And I love what you're doing.
I love you too, sister. Thank you.
Take care. All right,
and that's real important. East Side, West Side. See, Brother Shahab, we gotta bring in all. And I see my callers.
One city.
We gotta bring this in. We gotta bring this in when people say, well, that may be a Logan. We gotta bring this in where people understand that until we come together, we are a force to be reckoned with, and with the support and the encouragement of our different culturistic ways. It's time to break these chains in Baltimore City. 410-481-1010. Also, I want to put out some save the dates to make sure that we get to save July the 19th, 2016 at 5 p.m. We will be having our homeless summit at the Patterson Park Public Library meeting room. This is an open event. You know, we are looking to address private sectors, all entities when it comes to having the resources and solutions for helping our homeless individuals have a voice right here each and every Wednesday and Friday to talk about the issues. Also, we want to be able to save the date, June 25th, which is Archie Williams' first Dream Team Talent Show. You could contact him at 410-365-5567 in reference to getting tickets and being a part of helping Archie on the show. Also, I want to take a minute and before we jump into our other event, be able to chime in for a minute with Brother Shahab about the Youth Festival coming up in August the 6th. When I heard about this festival and your ideas surrounding bringing our youth, different culture youth together, different opportunities, exposing their minds, I was all in. You know, I'm proud to be on the committee of organizing this, and I'm thinking that August the 6th, every mentor, everyone that's dealing with a youth need to go on this website, make sure you bring the groups, the buses. This is a free event, and this is something that Brother Shahab is putting on to, again, break the barriers in our city. So instead of admiring, because we admire different cultures. When I look and see 10 people living together, I'll be like, darn, that's like family. Because we want to get a house and struggle with the rent instead of renting all the rooms out, you know? So talk about the Youth Festival a little bit, Brother Shahab, and what it will mean to Baltimore City to be unified.
Well, there are two different aspects. One is, of course, the youth is our prime focus right now because we have got a lot of issues. So it's empowering our youth by doing certain things. So we have planned this Baltimore City Local Youth Festival on August 6th, as you mentioned. And next year, almost at the same timeline, we are planning an international youth festival bringing 15 to 20,000 youth from different countries of the world. Wow. And the focus for both of these events are like that if somebody wants to run for an office, how can he or she be a successful public policy holder?
Giving them things to think about.
The second thing is, how can I become a successful small business person or entrepreneur?
That's right.
How can I become a successful community organizer? How can I become expert and professional in media and communication?
That's right.
So those are the four areas. That's one. The reason is that there's a lot of private sector companies, especially in Baltimore City. They are doing businesses. So we want to create linkages between them and those upcoming youth.
That's right. Yeah.
To have their future employment with them.
And the thing I think right now as community leaders and as grassroots is to be able to gravitate to the idea that you are having because again, you're definitely connected with a lot of different sectors, a lot of different business owners and individuals that are able to teach and train, because a lot of this will be going on August the 6th. Putting our children, our youth in a position to where they can have other opportunity other than that corner, other than dealing with what's happening right now. So that's why, again, it's real important. So put the website out there so everybody can get plans and know on August the 6th, this is where, I'm going to have a van that day because we got some youth that need to be there. And just to make sure that this is, again, a different approach. It's a different approach.
Our website is www.youthfestivalsglobal.com.
And where will it be held at, Brother Shahab?
At Poly Institute.
Poly Institute?
Spring. Yes.
Falls.
Yes.
Cold Spring. Okay,
I'm going to take some of our callers. Brother Bobby, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, God bless you. Listen, I've been listening to you for a while, and it's amazing how you can pick up on this benign neglect coming from our local government and national government. And it's amazing how they can now cut off the very money that was quote unquote mismanaged.
Ain't that a coincidence? We supposed to think that's a coincidence, right?
Yeah, to cover themselves.
Yeah.
And so they actually gave it to you, and that it was misused.
Exactly.
So that's how they cover themselves when they when their buddies didn't pocket everything. But I want to ask you another question. Has Senator Carding been instrumental in trying to help or get funds for the homeless?
Senator who?
Ben Cardin.
No.
That's an interesting question, but I'm going to have to say no. I don't feel like let me put this out there, and I always give her a great big shout out, but she's only one person. The Mayor's Office of Homeless Services have a dynamite woman down there by the name of Dawn Cursetta. And she's the deputy mayor. I give her a shout out because she is a powerful woman that uses the resources to her limitations. So when it comes to anything else, I'm going to have to say no.
You said it to her limitations.
I said it to her limitations because she's limited.
Exactly.
And again, she does so much.
Sister Christina, the housing summit that we are doing on July 19th.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea, to bring those stakeholders.
Yes.
From senators' offices, from Congressman Cummings' offices. Yes. And to have an advocacy day kind of a thing, what are the issues and how to address those issues.
Bring them to the table.
I don't think they know, but can I say, I don't think they know how to address the issues.
Well,
I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest
that's
because
the reason we are creating these public policy forums.
Yeah, I think they are so out of touch. Sorry, Bubba, you got some wind going on somewhere.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yes.
Again, they do know how, Mr. Carlin do know how to address the issue.
Okay.
Because if Israel wanted money to turn down the West Bank and get housing, they'll get it. And see, we got to hold these guys accountable about what their actions are and what's bringing them spotlight.
That's right.
And he knows how to get funded for homeless because he's making people homeless over in Israel. So we have to bring this to pass. And like this guy said, form. If he don't know, we teach him how to get involved. And that's one of the things that demand that he be accountable for his constituency.
Yeah, Brother Shahab, answer that.
Well, I'm glad this is like a fine line that we have to draw. You mentioned it very clearly, whether we only have one senator in the state of Maryland or two. One is representing the state of Maryland, the other one is representing the state of Israel. So but that is a debatable issue.
Yeah, and we got to make them come on home.
That's right. We gotta represent ourselves a little bit. How about that? I think that's where a lot of this goes.
Last week, I had a lady come to my office, Sister Christina. They said, well, the U.S. aid is sending computers to the youth all over the world. I said, the city does not belong to the world. The city is somewhere, an island where the federal government has no eyes. Where is our congregational delegation? Where are our senators? Where is our governor? Not reaching
They
out
on vacation.
They're on vacation?
Yeah, they on vacation.
Why can't have those computers for our city kids and city youth here?
The woman before me raised a good question, and that's a part of the symptom of this homelessness is these high rents.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, she really hit that on the nail because a lot of these people, they're working poor.
That's right.
And they just can't afford these high rents, $800-900 a month, and you only bring home $1,300 a month.
Amen.
So how you gonna maintain your house and feed your kids?
Brother Robert, do I have your email?
No, I don't use email.
What you use for reach out?
I got a card, a number. I give it to you off air.
All right.
They already tracking me.
All right. Well, let me. You can have mine. You can give me a call 410-365.
You announce it later on, and I can get it down.
All right. I'll make sure I do.
I got to do it again.
410-365-5567.
Okay.
Because it's really important that we bring these ideas to the table. This is, it was a great conversation. See, you get to stay on for a long time. Let me get these other callers so I can follow up. Thank you very much. How you doing, Brother Aaron?
Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm enjoying your dialogue. Again, my name is Aaron Lewis, and I'm the CEO of Global Fundraising Group, LLC. And I'm en route to a meeting, but I thought when you were talking about the homeless and the monies that are appropriated and not meeting the needs, and I thought about your umbrella and all the other nonprofits. Why don't they come under one umbrella and let a nonprofit help assist in raising funds to offset some of the affordable housing that the young lady you talked about, where they're fixed incomes? And people, so that's my idea to you, is that maybe your listening audience, the nonprofits might want to come up under your umbrella or somebody else's umbrella and then do fundraising from that perspective to help raise funds to offset some of those expenses.
Yeah, and the one thing we got to do, Brother Aaron, we got to be more focus giving. And I say focus giving because experiencing some of the giving process throughout Baltimore City when it comes to different programs, I try to keep my opinion to myself, but if the money is not directly going to the care of our homeless individuals and it's more administratively, that's the biggest problem. We got to take care of their needs first. And, it's really challenging when you sit in some of these meetings and they hiring people from other places, other cities, but at the same time, we're talking about homeless services not having no money, but we got a new program that we're testing every week to try to cover up money.
Correct. So, and I think you can alleviate that when you have a central location that's focused on 80%, 90% of the funds are going towards to meet the needs.
That's right.
Of those individuals.
Amen. That's right.
So with that, I'd like to give out my information.
Okay.
And maybe you might be interested, or some other MPs might be interested.
Okay.
It's Global Fundraising Group, LLC.
Fundraising Group.
LLC.
Fundraising Group, LLC.
.com is our web.
.com is your web.
And then I can be reached at 443 528 0858.
0858. Okay, I'll definitely reach out to you, Brother Aaron.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You do the same. So, it's more interest, and I'm excited with the listeners and the callers, but it's so much more bigger when we're talking about the next step. And Brother Shahab, and I want you to put that out there, the next step, other than the call and other than the email, making that next step of making a solution happen. Because one thing that I've seen over the years in a lot of the community meetings and a lot of meetings, people don't, I don't see where people make that next step and know this is what has to happen.
I get your point, but let me give you a case scenario.
Give me a case scenario.
There's a big company called Under Armour, based in Baltimore City. It's a $6 billion company, and they're exporting all over the world, right? So there is a disconnect between the needs and between the companies like Under Armour can cater to those Baltimore City needs. For example, we are talking about the youth initiatives. We are talking about workforce development. Has anybody from City Hall approached Under Armour that for next 5 years, what type of jobs or what type of employees that you will be looking?
Yeah, and will it be...
What's the expansion plan?
Yeah.
So there's a complete disconnect. So we need to fill up those, coming back to, as an answer, we need to fill up those gaps.
The gap. Everything got it. Do you hear the words you just said?
Exactly.
Everything got a gap. Our homeless got a gap. Our youth got a gap.
Right.
Our city got a gap.
And the bottom line,
when are we going to fill this gap?
It's a disconnect.
It's a complete
when are we going to fill this
gap? There's no think tank in Baltimore City talking about public policy issues or the solutions. We are same old folks in City Hall. I don't know what the newcomers that they've been recently elected is
and
going to bring.
the newcomers is kind of slow. And I've reached out to a couple of the newcomers to come on the air. We got to make sure that the newcomers come on. This is a very important time as community leaders that we reach out to those newcomers. I've invited all the newcomers on the air to come and talk about a plan for Baltimore City when they get in, because everybody says when they get in City Hall all the corruption starts. So why shouldn't we try to get them before they get in there so that we all can be on?
See what their agenda is.
See what their agendas is and how we're going to work. We're going to knock down some of our callers. Brother Leo, how are you?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Flowers.
How you doing?
Dr. Humphrey and everybody.
Hey, Mr. Leo.
Well, I got a suggestion.
That is,
you mentioned, I heard people talking about rent and the high cost of rent. Do you realize that in some cities and some states in the United States there is something called rent control? But in order to bring about rent control, maybe I'm hearing you talk about there's going to be a workshop or a summit of some kind.
July the 19th is going to be the homeless summit, yes.
Why not include, and it may not be appropriate, but why not include a workshop during that summit that deals with rent control? In other words, what you're doing is familiarizing people with what rent control is and how it does work in other states. And if it can work in other states, can we get elected officials in the state of Maryland? I'm sure we can. It's not going to be easy. But to sponsor legislation to establish rent control in Maryland. Now, Maryland is a very conservative, right-wing, blue dog Democrat state, very racist, but at the same time...
You said all that in one breath, Mr. Leo.
Well, it's a terrible state.
I heard you said something about a dog.
Blue dog Democrats. These are right-wing Democrats here, and Republicans aren't much better. But my point is, anything you want to achieve, you've got to start somewhere. You've got to organize a campaign to get it going, because the real estate industry will fight it tooth and nail. I mean, they got a lot of money, and they do not want. In fact, back in the 1980s, there was a campaign with Bob Cheeks and others, welfare rights organization, others, to bring rent control to Maryland, and it failed. And it failed because we didn't get enough people on board. It didn't fail for lack of enthusiasm for some, but for others, it's just one of those things where anytime you're going to pass a law to control whatever needs to be controlled in the interest of poor people and middle-income people or what have you, then you have to get a law enacted by the state. And so that is something that it's a long-term goal, but it's not unreasonable to think about bringing rent control, because I'm sure it will be opposed. People want to charge you any amount of money for rent, and it's not right.
Yeah, you're right.
It just is not right. And so far as Under Armour is concerned, Under Armour's got plenty of money. The youth of this city should not want for anything. In other words, Under Armour could easily afford to give $2 million a year to youth employment for city employment here.
And we got to hold, and we may be the ones that we have to hold Under Armour accountable.
Oh, yes.
And it comes to that. And Mr. Leo, Brother Shahab, he's a community leader, organizer, does great work, concerned citizens. And this is where community leaders, I think I'm like-minded with Mr. Leo.
Public policy.
He got to come in. We got to make public policy, like your group, my group. And once we put this in writing, it's like we come together. Like one thing with a lot of the community leaders where they don't work together and they don't share ideas, but when we're coming together on a public policy that we agree on, we have to put this in writing and know the next step to take it.
And all these people who are registered, we're registering people to vote, all these voters, many of them will get on board with it if we organize and plan effectively a campaign to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Thousands of people will support it.
You already know I'm on you, Mr. Leo.
All right. Have a good day.
Great day.
All right, Mr. Leo.
Awesome. Brother Dwayne, how are you? Brother Dwayne? Hello? Brother Dwayne must have gave up the call. Brother Thomas, how are you?
Hey, Sister Bell Flowers, how are you?
Hey, Brother Thomas, how are you?
Hey, listen, let me explain something to you people right now. I disagree with Brother Leo, and I disagree with the other guy in there. Under Armour is not our problem, okay? Let me tell you who the problem is.
Who's the problem?
The problem is your city council president, and your city council members, and your mayor who wants this deal to go through. Under Armour, that CEO is Kevin Plain. He's a businessman, okay? If you can get somebody to do something for you without you spending your money, then what's the problem with that?
Good point.
Okay? Now, the same token, you're right. Under Armour could do a lot more. Well, no case in point.
He already answered his own question.
BG&E could do a lot more. Okay? You give BG&E a whole bunch of money to do what they're doing. And and we have to have accountability for monies that we've already had coming into the state,
that makes sense.
The city of Baltimore.
That makes sense, Brother Thomas. You're right. Thank you very much. Accountability.
First of
he
all,
said the good point. He said the good point about accountability, Brother Shahab, because when we're talking about public policies and creating things, like we got to be so concerned with the people agendas and motives. Like you have to be concerned. The Bible say do not worry. Like we can't worry about people intentions, but we should be concerned when issues happening where money is mismanaged, misappropriated, whatever it's called. It happens too regularly in Baltimore City.
You have to have the platform to address these issues.
It happens too much.
Yeah.
Now, coming to add up to that conversation, how many people voted in this cycle? What percentage? 32%, 33 maybe. So where are those 70% people? They're disengaged. There's complete disconnect.
Wow.
They're not the stakeholders. They don't care because they've given up.
Yeah.
Oh, they may be not giving up. They may just be home. But is this Bobby?
Yes, it is. How you doing?
Hey, Bobby, this is our housing. Brother Shahab, haven't even met him yet. But this is our blow the whistle. This is housing. This is 417 himself.
Okay, Mr. Graziano's
this is Graziano's favorite person right here.
Well, greetings. I just received a call from the state. They assured me that Mr. Graziano will be resigning with Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake. So
he has no other option, brother.
But if they don't take Kimberly Washington with them, they still have the snake in the housing authority.
Ooh.
And let's get back to your issue. No one can explain to me why do we have homeless people in Baltimore City when we have two federally funded agencies in Baltimore City, that HABC and that HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Wow. That's what development means, that you're supposed to develop strategies to eradicate housing.
Wow. They getting paid. They getting paid to develop.
Of course, but see, my whole plight then, and what frustrates me, that no one is going to jail at 417. That is my point.
Brother Bobby, is Mr. Strauber jobs safe?
Mr. Strauber is a piece of feces.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Ooh, listen, the views and opinions.
Let me tell you something. Mr. Strauber is that old Negro, like in that movie, I can't say Django, in that movie like Django. That's who Mr. Strauber is.
Bobby.
He is ridiculous. The stuff that he sit on and allow to go on, and the way he speak to them homeless people, and the way he speak to them clients in the housing authority.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole show on that, Bobby. But you need to plan for Friday. We're running out of time.
I'm available.
Yes, sir. I will be in touch. Thank you. Tony.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just quick comment on Under Armour. Yeah, they're not a church or anything like that. So really, they're all about the bottom line. So there really should be no expectation for them to do anything because it's just their charter. They're there for profit. But what I'm really calling about is just a possible strategy. I think I called in, a while back, just asking about, possible homes that I can get my hands on, and if your agency can do something like what. Oh my goodness!
Let me give you my for time's sake. Let me give you my number.
Volunteer.
Yeah, let me give you my number, Tony. Let me give you my number. You ready?
Yeah, but I mean, is that a viable idea? Because
it's an idea that we can work on if we're going to sit back and maybe put some of our homeless to work, and that's a great idea. So let me give you my number: 410-365-5567.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then, we talk about it and see what can
and let's see what can happen. Definitely. We're going to have a nice meeting about it. Thank you, Tony. Well, this has been definitely winding down. We're down to our last 3 minutes. Let's give 60 seconds to Kim Trueheart.
Happy Hump Day. I'll be quick.
Quick and in a hurry.
Let's talk about accountability. There are 2 boards in this city that have oversight over housing. One is the Inclusionary Housing Board, and the chairperson of that board resigned because she was just that frustrated. And then the other is the Housing Authority of Baltimore Board of Commissioners. Now, how do we get them, who are supposedly citizens, to hold the agency heads accountable for doing what is right and appropriate?
Awesome.
And we got to show up. They had the Inclusionary Housing Board met Monday. Who was in the room? I was.
Kim Trueheart, we got to show up or somebody there showing up.
Exactly.
All right, Trueheart, thank you. Real talk, this is such a great show, but I want Sister Mona to put a plug into our listeners real quick, because coming soon Sunday, we will have a whole different culture busting loose around here, Baltimore City. So put your information out there, Sister Mona.
Yeah, we are coming on the show, our own show that is called Daisy Radio.
Daisy's Radio.
Daisy Radio Baltimore.
That's
and
right.
that is going to start on June 5th.
Awesome.
3 to 4.
3 to 4, Baltimore City, in
Baltimore
partnership
City,
and collaborating. We're going to have some real talk around here on Sunday. Brother Shahab, put your information out there so these brothers can know where to find you.
Well, I can be reached through you because you're sharing all the initiatives. But my phone number is 443-641-3153.
Awesome.
24/7.
Dr. Humphrey.
443-418-8898.
Thank you, Baltimore City. Don't forget this Saturday also, Real Care Provider Network meeting from 10 to 12, 3901 Main Street. This Saturday, come out. Entrepreneurs, business, all interested and concerned individuals about our homeless, about our youth, about our Baltimore City. Call me, 410-365-5567. Go to our website and support and donate, www.helpbaltimoreshomeless.org. That's a true thing, because this do means war, Baltimore. Have a great Wednesday. Tune in on Friday, 2 p.m. for some Real Talk Baltimore with Miss Flowers.